here. Tennessee, it would be great to get 2 first-rounders tonight. I do know that. There's an interesting correlation. If you look on the blog today, I did a little research, which is kind of scary when I start doing research, but there is a correlation between winning and first-round draft picks and winning at a high level in college football. As I bring in Matt Diskin and Brian Hartman, and guys, why do you think that is? Why do you think Georgia in their elite years was having 5 and 6 first-round draft picks, and now they're not? Alabama, and by the way, what is Alabama doing giving this guy this? Have they been watching the past couple of seasons? What are they doing giving this guy the keys to the castle like that? What do you have, naked pictures on somebody? What are we doing? Matt, it is interesting. We need two first-rounders tonight, Matt. Be a great thing for the program.
Yeah, gives you some credibility, visibility. You got to keep turning out, high-end draft picks and high-end talent. You've got to have the high-end talent to win in college and in the NFL. So obviously, having those guys, they're just required to win in college football, to win in the SEC. So,
yes.
Of course, I guess Tennessee's problem is the highest guy that's going to get drafted didn't even play last year, which was kind of one of the reasons your secondary was so bad.
Yes. Here's another thing that's going on right now. Moving parts here. They're talking about, if you look at Dellinger's reporting, this 5th-year rule, making it retroactive that guys could be coming back to college in these different sports. They're talking about going back to the past season and even dipping back. The belief is into the last football season. And so if you have a 5th year, if you've only played 4 years, you could get a 5th. That means there could be, like, if they do this, I don't know if they're going to do this or how it's going to work, but there could be a supplemental type of window where you could add, say, a quarterback if you're Tennessee and you wanted to. Matt, these guys just cannot figure out the rules, can they? It's just exhausting, isn't it, as a fan? Like yesterday,
it's stupid. Yeah. It's not sustainable at all. I don't know when the dam breaks on all this, but at some point, this salaries, rosters salaries going up so much every year. Like I don't know when the end point is, because the sports are so popular and so just ingrained in culture and on campuses especially. But it's just maddening to have all this, and literally you don't know who's eligible, who's not. It can change with a court ruling. I mean, basically everybody's eligible except Joey Aguilar, pretty much.
Yes. And look, he's like a 7-year guy. So, that was going to be a long shot anyway. But here's the thing. Now, if you're hyping them, you might get
the exact same ruling. That's the thing. Like, nobody's playing with the same playing field.
That's a good point.
There's just no rules at all.
That's a good point.
And Diego Pavia got the thing, and Aguilar didn't. Chambliss did. There's just no rules to follow. You can throw money at anybody. I don't know. It's just college sports are at such a crossroads. And I just don't know. There's no real solutions either. That's the big issue. There's not easy solutions to any of this.
No, there are no solutions. And one of the reasons, I was talking with somebody today that's been in college sports all their life. One of the reasons why they're talking about doing this retroactive thing, because as soon as they announce it, a few athletes from right now that want to keep the gravy train going, say somebody that's not going to play in the NBA but a pretty good college basketball player, for instance, is going to sue them. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to win. They're going to win. I want my 5th year. I want my 5th year. And the reason they're doing this is that it adds a little more stability to these sports. That's my understanding. Plus, it makes the product better for television. The guys are a little older. There's never been a worse time to be a freshman entering college sports than right now. Never been a worse time. And as far as like the NIL stuff goes, you get peanuts when you're a kid now coming into these deals. It's incredible to me that an JP Estrella can make like $4 million in the open market. That's nuts. It's incredible to me he can make $1.5 million. When we were talking about it back in February here, we're like, yeah, Tennessee kind of thinks it could take $1.5 million. That's going to be his agent's fee by the time this thing's over. And so, do you guys think, Brian, you and Matt, that if they go with this fifth year thing and there are a bunch of quarterbacks that are laying out there that don't get picked by the NFL, the spring league's already started, they're not in that. Should we, Brian Hartman, I start with you, should the Vols kick some tires on some guys and try to get somebody in here in the summer like they did last year in light of the developments of the spring, or do you roll with what you have?
They absolutely need to kick the tires, but they can still be somewhat selective if they want to let Faison sort of feel his way around like Bryce Underwood did last year.
Yeah.
I always thought the best thing for Faison would be if Joey Aguilar got that last year, got his extra year, and Faison could learn under him and develop and be ready to go in 27. If there's someone that they think can come in and have that type of impact, yes, they absolutely need to do that.
Matt, what say you? Knowing, and you got pretty great sources inside the football deal that kind of tell you that spring quarterback play from GMAC wasn't exactly, how do we put this? I mean, look, a lot can change in a few months, but it wasn't exactly bringing hope, Matt. I think that's probably a fair way of putting it.
Yeah, pretty underwhelming.
Yep.
I mean, if there's a guy out there that you can bring in, sure. You did. I mean, basically, it'd be what you did last year, just on an even probably more expedited, process, because you just did it with Aguilar last year, who didn't go through spring with you. So it'd kind of be that thing all over again. If somebody like that's out there, I'm not sure who all that could be at this point, but yeah, I mean, you always have to be exploring those things. And in this era, you have to do silly stuff like this.
Correct.
Try to find goals and try to find ways to save money here or there with roster. Like anything to gain a competitive edge, you have to just try to do.
One of the league programs in basketball.
A guy from the G League.
That's exactly right. Well, how about this one, Matt? Stupid. One of the, I think it was A&M last night, committed a player from the G League last night. Committed a guy, which I don't know how that's going to work, but that's what we're doing. I don't know. Here's the thing about any of this stuff is you can't tell me anything that's going to surprise me now, because what they've got is they've got total anarchy. Look, Danny White and I, when it comes to sports and life and stuff, probably don't agree with many things. But one thing we do agree on is they cannot continue to go the way they are. This is not sustainable. And by the way, the winds are blowing, and I'm hearing the way the winds are blowing that the Wrigley Field of parking garage is G10 at Waveland and Addison on UT's campus. I'm hearing it could be safe for another year. I'm hearing the Danny Dollars district is very much up in the air right now. Danny Dollars district. So kind of file that one away and let's see what happens. This is from Andy Slater, Slater Scoop. See, when you can play in the NFL and you can wreak havoc, and it's the most powerful sport in the world, sport in our world anyway. Brian, what is before we get to the James Pierce news, and then I've got some Nate Ament stuff, we got some baseball, we got a whole bunch of stuff we need to talk about. Hey, Matt, Bri, what's your level of interest? Well, let's do this. Because I asked a question today over on my Twitter, or today I decided to be tweet. I actually decided to tweet, or X, or whatever I'm doing. And so if you want to go take the poll over there with the 30-some thousand people that follow along, but I want to take your temperature here. Tonight, on your radar, share this with me. Tonight, you'll be more interested in UT Bama baseball, NFL first round, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Rank them, Bri.
I'll say Tennessee baseball with Bama is number one.
Okay.
The NFL draft is number two.
Okay.
The NBA playoffs is number three,
okay.
And the NHL playoffs is number 4.
So far, we've had 23 whole votes in 3 hours. I mean, that is a lot of engagement. Would you get over there and vote? Quit looking me, make me look like a damn stupid sheep for putting that out there. Go to Tony Basilio on X and vote, please. And then we'll come back and revisit here later on in the hour how those listening to the show actually feel. But taking your temperature, right now, 48% of the respondents say UT Bama baseball. 43% say NFL first round. 0% say NBA playoffs, and 9% say NHL playoffs. Matt Diskin, I will ask you question number 2, and I would encourage folks to go, and we're going to start doing this over on Twitter. I've decided I'm going to quit being a goofball. Taking your temperature. Vols-Bama series begins tonight. It snuck up on us. Quick week. Tuesday night baseball, Thursday night baseball. What happens this series? Vols sweep, Bama sweep. Vols win series, Tide win series. Matt, what you got?
I got Vols winning the series. I think they take two out of 3. Even if they lose tonight.
Wow. Because the kid going tonight from Bama is very good, right?
Yeah, their ace pitcher, really good righty.
Yeah.
Tennessee hits lefties a whole lot better than righties.
Yes.
I just think it's a week for Tennessee to win 2 out of 3 and start turning this thing around.
He's kind of a lead out loud, isn't he?
Yeah, for a college pitcher, yeah, Tyler Fay. We'll see what happens. It's maybe you can work his pitch count up and get him out of the game early, or maybe you just hammer him. Who knows? You've hit well the last 2 games.
It's called baseball, guys, right?
Yep. The Little Giants has beat the Dodgers the last 2 nights.
There we go. Tony Vols is fixing to get a text from me.
Nearly shut him out, I think.
Tony Vols fixing to get a text from me here in the next little bit. You know why?
Where they scored 1 run in 2 games?
Brian, why do you think Tony Vols is getting a text from me? What do you think? Because they're
about to sweep a series against the Dodgers, maybe.
Hell no. Care about that. He's getting ready to get a text from me because the Giants are playing in Philly, and I've got friends that want to go see those series. And they've said that they're either going to wear Vol stuff or Giant stuff. And in the case of Joe O'Sullivan, both.
They're going to wear orange.
Matt, were there some Vol fans there? And Tony's going to hook them up.
There was, I'd say, 25 or 30 Tennessee people at all 3 of the games.
It's unbelievable. There used to be days where we'd had 25 or 30 at a college game here. And the guy had 25 or 30 up there in Cincinnati. And some of you haters are like, he always works Tony Vitello. Slater scoop. Falcons' James Pierce Jr. will have all his charges dismissed if he completes a program offered to him by the state of Florida. He said, I've learned. Details are still being worked out. Pierce Jr. would have to attend therapy sessions, stay out of trouble for over a 6-month period. The second part there, see how I put this, and anybody that was at UT when he was there absolutely holding their breath with him and Rakia Jackson, like Sid and Nancy. Let me see how we're going to put. And I'm not judging the guy, but I'll take the under on that, Alex, for 50. His attorney, Yale Sanford, Bry, His attorney is a guy named Yale Sanford. Andy Slater reports, tells me the victim, Rakia Jackson, and police officers in the case spoke with the state attorney's office and agreed to this as well.
Do you think that Yale Sanford works with someone named Princeton Brown?
I knew you would love the name Yale Sanford, bro. You're a sucker for names. You're a sucker for names. We come back on the other side. Look, I don't know if it's going to happen. I was telling you the whole time during this crazy transfer portal stuff, which is really just nuts. Now, don't get me wrong. It's fun to cover. We've got good sources. It was fun to sort of be in the middle of that and use the term point guard one and, all that stuff. But point guard one has turned into big fish two. As in big fish for year number 2. As in big tuna. As in get some healthy wheels. As in get some healthy wheels and move up into the top 5 in the 2026-2027 draft. As in, when I first heard this last week, I guess it would have, last week, because that portal thing was like 18 days old, middle of the portal. I don't know, maybe a little longer than that. But anyway, when I first heard this notion, and here's the way it was spun to me. There's a remote chance that Big Tuna 2 ends up here if PG1 doesn't. Now, PG1, as we now know, is Tyler Tanner. And PG1 chose to stay where he's at. Tennessee really tried to pull him into the boat. They really tried, and they thought they had him. They were kind of telling people. There were big boosters around town. Hey, we got this guy. And those of you that know. Those of you that don't. It's fine. But I was not doing that for sport, as some people have accused me. But I got to admit to you, this Nate Ament thing, well, let's talk about it on the other side. It's starting to hear some smoke. I'm starting to hear some smoke around this. We'll talk about how this could be coming down, how and why, and if it makes sense. And I'm going to kick us around with a panel. And then we have a lot to talk about. So your interest level, I want to know from you tonight. What are you more interested in? Tonight's pivotal baseball series for the baseball team or the NFL draft? There are people out there that love our baseball Vols, but love the NFL draft. And I don't poo-poo anything. I was freaking out in my house. Laura was like, you're turning into a nut last night when one of the Penguins players, Rust, did one of the dirtiest things I've seen in a hockey game in a long time. It made me feel good about America and about hockey because he basically tackled Konechny and got him down on the ground. And Konechny was at one point kicked him with his skate, and it was pretty ugly. It's pretty next level. But we'll get into that. I want to talk about, would you go get a quarterback in light of this reporting around the 5th-year deal? If you're the Vols, would you right now be looking at the lists of who's not going to get drafted and get on the phone with some agents and say, hey, do not sign a camp arm contract? And then if you're those kids, would you sign a camp arm contract or would you wait for this ruling? Because it looks like they're getting ready to retroactively kick this thing back. And I guess if they kick this thing back, people are wondering, could Tennessee get involved with that Gillespie guy? I mean, Jacoby Gillespie. I don't know. I guess it's all on the table now. And as Matt says, when you're sort of making it up as you go along, none of this makes any sense. But would you go get a quarterback? We'll talk about Big Tuna 2 now that PG1 has decided to stay where he's at. Big Tuna 2 incoming. More as we continue in your Hour 1 Thursday edition Basilio Show. We're live tomorrow. Calhoun's on the river. Bing! There. And remember, Garza Law, Tennessee, extra innings after the Tennessee baseball game goes final. Hey, Matt, what time's the start time on Saturday? Do you have that in front of you? Or no?
On Saturday, I don't have it in front of me now.
I think it's 1 o'clock Saturday.
It's perfecto, Chico. Perfecto, Chico. As we continue with more on the other side right after the...
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Chilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. I mean, the fact that as I welcome you back, the fact that we're having this conversation talks about the absurdity of all this stuff, but it's absurd. And we're in an absurd time. And one thing that's the transfer portal's taught me, and watching Tennessee try to navigate this thing, is you better be nimble and you better respond to the ebbs and flows of it. And I think they've been pretty good about that. Now, last year they got caught in two-guard island. And then what they did is, after the fact, they went into the portal, went in the bargain basement bin, and swung on some guys. And, those guys, they weren't hits. They were whatever. But my question for you is, where do you put the draft? Where do you put the draft tonight versus the baseball versus NBA, NHL? Rank them for me in terms of what you're looking at tonight. The thing that's crazy about everything that's going on in the portal right now and what we're seeing in the transfer portal, and what doesn't make any sense about the transfer portal, and none of this makes any sense to me. I mean, none of this makes any sense. So the whole thing with the draft and trying to navigate around this stuff, and here's what we're talking about. There were reports out there today that college sports, in their infinite wisdom, and the college sports commissioner, who I believe his name is Baker, the NCAA is so invisible now. That used to be, we would all know that guy's name. We would know where he was from. We would know everything about him. This Baker guy's like a Politico type from, where's he from? Connecticut, maybe? But here's the thing.
He's a former governor of Massachusetts.
Thank you. I knew he was somewhere in the New England. I should have just said New England, Bri. Home of the New England Patriots, a.k.a. the Boston Patriots. Former AFL franchise. Bri, by the way, I like the Patriots snapping the football as their logo. Do you agree with that versus the Tom Brady era deal?
I do, too. I think that's a classic. The cartoon classic logos are the best.
Hey, Matt, speaking of which, Tom Brady made a great point the other day in an interview. He was talking about, he said one thing he watches when he looks at a film of a young quarterback is when his team scores in college football. Do the players come over after he throws a touchdown pass and celebrate with him? Or is he out there on his own celebrating by himself? He said, I want guys whose teammates rush to his side to celebrate with him. Isn't that an interesting observation, Matt Diskin, I ask you? I think it's an interesting observation from him.
Yeah, it's something we've kind of talked about that in the past with how guys celebrate. And, and it kind of gives you an indication of where a quarterback stands within his team and in the locker room. And that's not a given anymore with all the just, moving around and quarterbacks just don't stay at a school.
Yep.
That is something that's not a given that used to be kind of pretty well established, because regardless of how long they've been there or how much they've played or how good they are, your quarterback is kind of by default the leader of your football team, no matter what, your starting quarterback. And so I think that is a pretty good point.
Here are some guys. Now we're talking about, and I'm going to get into the cement thing too. Okay, here's the cement thing. We had talked, I don't know, a week or so ago, and it just seemed like fantasy to me. First of all, Tyler Tanner to Tennessee seemed like fantasy to me, even when we were talking about it. But they were going for it. And they were talking to him from January on. And they gave it the old college try with him, and I give them credit for that. But you always have to have a backup plan. One of their backup plans was, if we can't get him, Nate Ament is starting to get, I guess you would say, mixed messages from the NBA as to whether or not he's going to end up in the high lottery. Right now, it looks like he'll end up in the back of the lottery, if he ends up in the lottery. Maury Hanks was on here with us a couple weeks ago talking about the implications of that. The implications of that are really profuse for those guys. And you have a decision on your hand if you're him and you're his camp. And Sand's gone through the hourglass. I think tomorrow's a deadline for it. And the thing about the portal, there's like a misconception. People think, well, when the portal closes, your team is formed. No, it's not. No, it's not. Like we were telling you about Juke Harris. The Juke Harris thing is going to take a while. Now, I thought at one point, and they thought at one point last week, the Jukey boy, Jukey baby as I'm calling him, the Jukester, would go out to California, work out, and hear information that he was going to be a second-round pick, which he is, and then say, you know what, I'm going to come public on Wednesday, and I'm going to do my thing with the Vols. Well, Wednesday was yesterday. I don't think I have to share with you where we are. There are reports out there and a belief that Nate Ament's still going to class. I don't know whether he is or not. I'm not enrolled at University of Tennessee. I'm not on the campus. I'm always careful about talking about things like that because I don't know whether he is or not, but people are saying that. So let's just go off under the supposition that he's still going to class. And apparently he's still in our midst, too, which is another thing. If guys move away and they cut the cord, then it's done. But obviously, here's the thing. Internally from UT, there's chatter. There's like chatter. And that's all I can share with you. There's chatter. Matt, I put this on your plate here. Once PG1 and the concept of that flew the coop, which I think Tennessee knew as last week wore on, hey, if this guy doesn't get in the portal soon. Imagine if their plan would have come to fruition and he had jumped in the portal on the front end, what kind of team they could have put around. They've had a pretty damn good portal haul as it is. Imagine what they could have done if they would have gotten him in the portal first. But anyway, I digress. Matt, what would you do? If you're Nate Ament right now, Tennessee's got I think they've got another $8 to $10 million to play around with. I'm telling you, Danny White and Tennessee's NIL kind of knows that football is, I don't want to say they're in for a long one, but probably not in for a playoff run. And then you have to deal with the Lady Vol mess that Danny White's made, and it's a mess. And her roster looks, no offense, I know some of you are getting excited about it. I'm not here to rain on anybody's parade. I mean, hell, I've sat here and watched a Flyers team and sweated it every night, and they had about zero chance of getting into the playoffs this year, and they're getting ready to win a round, which makes no sense to me. So who am I to say that anything can or can't happen? But Lady Vol team on paper compared to the good teams in the SEC, they have about zero chance with the players they've amassed here so far. Matt, if you're them with Nate Ament, what are you doing here? What are you doing, Matt?
I mean, you try to get him to come back to school.
If you're him, though, what are you doing? Would you risk
it? You can make the case that it makes a lot of sense, even financially, for him to come back with how good the draft is this year, this kind of generational draft, how much development he needs, how great of a college player he could be, on top of making $7 or $8 million doing it, which has never been the case before. It's at least more feasible than it has been with other past like stars to do it. Like if you're Tennessee, I think you can sell him on that. He can, score, be 25, 30 points a game kind of guy and just take over the sport next year.
Totally,
he has that kind of ability.
Tennessee believed, and they were selling Tyler Tanner on this. You come to our school, you can win the Naismith Award. I think you turn right around and you have that conversation with Nate Ament next year about next season. And I think, Matt, with a straight face, you could do that with him. I mean, it gives me chills thinking about it. But you come back, Nate, we'll double your salary from what we had last year. They've got the money. We're already talking about that. They've got the money. They're hell-bent on competing at the highest level. Here's the other thing. Matt, not only do you get to do that, but you come back and right now, Nate, I mean, let's look at it. We love you. We're for you, not against you. But you're slotted anywhere from 8 at the very best, 8 at the best. That's top of the mark for him. Old man on Pawn Stars, top of the mark, 8. All the way back to 14, 15, 16. I don't know if that's a risk I'd take if I were him. Because you get to 15, 16 in that neighborhood, and you're all of a sudden, you're in danger of getting into the bus leagues. It's just how it is in the NBA. It's a very, 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 very difficult. That's a world level sport, and it's very difficult to stick in that league, especially for a spindly guy like him that's got to sort of grow into his body. Another thing I sell him, Matt, is Garrett Medenwald could put 40 pounds of muscle on you, 30 pounds of whatever it is. But we could turn you from a boy to a man. The gamble for him is, I don't want to be like the Toppin guy at Texas Tech, Matt. That's a gamble.
And he's already been through one injury.
Yeah, bird in the hand is worth.
Oh, I mean, he had multiple injuries.
Two in the bush. Yeah, he was hurt all year.
That caused him to miss time.
Mm-hmm.
But yes,
I'm not so sure, Matt. If I wasn't the Vols, if I would take a photo of the wrestler El Gigante from back in the day, Matt, are you too young to remember El Gigante?
Yeah, that's not going to help get Nate Ament back, Tom.
Do you remember him?
No, I don't.
All right, let me show you something.
I don't know what you're going. That's not going to help get Nate Ament back.
Hang on. I'm going to show the listener what El Gigante looked like. El Gigante.
You're showing pictures of Admiral Schofield and Grant Williams, their transformation body-wise.
You show them El Gigante's body. El Gigante was a tall, skinny, 7'4" guy from Argentina, Jorge Gonzalez. And WCW put a bodysuit on him, Matt, that was all like muscles. He was all muscled up, and he was El Gigante, and he literally was the worst.
Oh, yeah, the Gonzalez. Yeah,
you remember that? The guy with
at one of the outdoor SummerSlams or WrestleMania.
El Gigante.
Yeah, I don't know what he has to do with Nate Ament, but
well, that's what you do. You take him, you bring him aside, and you say, "This is you next year with your shirt off." By the time November rolls around, Garrett Medenwald says, and you won't need the plastic bodysuit for it. This is going to be you. So I think it's interesting that Nate Ament has not said, I'm out. I think it's interesting that all this stuff. So what I don't know is, do they still offer, because you don't hear of this anymore, those Lloyd's of London policies? At one time, they used to give those out like candy. Everybody would get one. And that is, if I stay in school, I take out an insurance policy on myself against future earnings if I get injured, and it's like it's a risk policy. I don't know what you would call that. Those of you in the insurance industry can tell me. Do they still have those for an athlete like a Nate Ament in a spot like him, where the family could take out obviously the premium on something like that's got to be highly expensive, but when you're a young man could be poised, the guy made between $4 and $7 million this year playing basketball. Shoe company and what the Vols paid him. And that's the other thing about him.
And you're at a point now where the people paying you will pay that premium for you.
The policy. Yeah.
I assume they still have those. I was thinking about that the other week because you just don't hear about them anymore.
Yep.
But I assume that's still the case.
Yep. And then you have this thing out there all of a sudden, and I was telling Matt this during the timeout. All of a sudden, and I don't know if I said this on the air or off the air, but I'm going to say it on the air now, kind of clouding this thing is this situation with Drew Karras, where Drew Karras, I don't know, they're a little afraid he's just going to stay in the NBA draft and be like a second-round pick and get in the bus leagues, which I'll tell you this right now, it would make 0 sense. Would make 0 sense. You mean tell me you'd rather be in the bus league? Even considering that would make no sense. Or on some NBA two-way deal than playing and staying in 5-star hotels, playing a winter-spring season over here where you're playing in front of, on a snowy night. We had 4 inches of snow, and people came up from all different corners of the state. 18,000 people on a Saturday night when all the restaurants in the area were closed. Never seen anything like it. But here's the deal. Why would a guy like that, some guys just say, you know what, I'm ready to go start my basketball career. And you hope when you get involved in those guys, they're not going to do that. But that's the other thing. You're put in a position now in the portal where, okay, I fool with a guy, I get him, we agree to terms, which is, I think, where Tennessee is with him. And then all of a sudden and then they want you to go out like Barnes and them. They want you to have as much information you can have, because when you come back, not only are you going to be a good teammate, but you're going to work on your game.
I can't imagine that they're going to pay him more in the bus leagues than they would here.
Oh, no, Bri, it's not even close. No, that's the other point.
That wouldn't make sense at all financially anymore.
It just wouldn't make any sense, except that, hey, I'm done. I'm tired of college basketball. I want to go call myself a pro, and go play pro ball.
And you have a lot of, as far as school goes, you have tutors that'll help you a lot with what you're doing if you're an athlete like that.
Brian, they're not in school anymore.
I love Brian.
If we're even in school at all.
Come on, Brian. These guys aren't in school. Got tutors for what? To teach them how to make a hook shot?
Tutors for what?
Come on, Brian. A tutor
Tutors for what?
For a guy making $8 million to play college basketball?
For what? Keep the riff up, Matt, and I'm going to scream tutors for what on you, and we can cut it out later. Ready? Do it again, Brian. Ask it again. Let's do it all over again. We're going to do this for a bit.
Jesus. Come
Go
on,
ahead, Brian. Do it, Brian.
I mean, if he doesn't want to do schoolwork, which I doubt he has to do anyway, I mean, it's not, and he's making all this money. Why would he do anything else?
Two tutors. He could have two tutors.
Tutors
One
for what?
Every subject.
Tutors
Maybe
for
he
what?
can hire a John tutor.
Tutors for what?
And might as well hire somebody to do schoolwork for him. If he's even enrolled in class.
So we have that conversation. Matt, when's the last time you heard of a guy flunking out of school?
It's probably been 6 or 8 years at least.
Hey, Matt, flunking a drug test. When's the last time you heard of a guy positive on a drug test? Let me help you. How about never?
Yeah, been a long, long time.
How about
unless it's somebody that the coaches want to get rid of.
Yeah. Now, if it's a dum-dum on your team and you want to get rid of them.
Like Tyrann Mathieu, probably the last player I remember getting truly busted for a drug test that got kicked off a team. And that's probably been 15 years.
Tyrann Mathieu. Wow. Is that the Honey Badger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the last Tennessee player to get kicked off for that?
It's been forever, Bri.
That you've heard of.
Ever. And they
I know that's sad.
They used to throw guys off a team for smoking pot. For smoking pot.
Now it's vaping.
You like Bri how he won't leave it alone, Matt? Provy.
Yeah.
Matt, is Bri gonna leave it alone, Matt?
I would like to think our athletes aren't vaping. That doesn't seem very helpful to a college athlete.
Well, look, I mean, people chew tobacco, people vape.
Yeah.
These kids still chew tobacco.
Maybe somebody will pull a vape out in the middle of Diamond one day out there. Lindsey Nelson.
Why not? Or like, what would we do, right?
Have a really bad pitch go against you, call your timeout.
Yeah, call your timeout. Or how about this one, Matt? Quarterback makes an incredible run, like 80 yards. He goes over, instead of reaching for the oxygen, he just pulls his vape pen out.
Gets his vape out.
Takes him a hit. I used to love the old, and then we'll go to the phones. I used to love the old NFL films that would go inside the locker room. And there's Len Dawson sitting over there, the late, great Len Dawson, who we had on a show one time. Came into town for something. But Len Dawson sitting over there on a folding chair in the middle of some Spartan locker room, not like they have today, but Spartan accommodations. And he's got a beer, open beer, and a cig. And his coach is over there, Hank Stram's over there talking, and he's got himself a smoke and a brewski. Dos Equis 2026. Cervezas Mexicanas go for dos. So we'll go to the phones. Somebody's saying here, 640 pothole. He says, I remember when Barry Switzer's entire staff used to light up on the sidelines. There was so much smoking going on in our culture back then. I was talking to Laura about that the other night. When we were kids, like in the 70s growing up, everything smelled like smoke. Your whole house smelled like smoke. Every restaurant you went in smelled like smoke. Every car you would sit in, all these parents it was like being around a bunch of Kentucky fans, Matt. What do you make of the way, Matt, Dan Dockich is on there just absolutely skull dunking on these Kentucky fans for how much their program has slipped? And can you believe how much their program slipped, Matt?
I am, but not with Pope, because he wasn't a good hire to begin with. Like they knew what they were getting with him. They just they brought a trophy out with his teammates and pretended that it was going to work out. So, but no, it's a level playing field. We've talked about it. Like Kentucky taking a huge drop off, and losing Calipari right at the beginning of all this is going to prove to be a really bad move for Kentucky, even though he was not what he once was. They really kind of needed him to kind of navigate through this uncertainty period with NIL in the portal, because he was really, really good at it.
Wow.
I mean, Mark Pope can't recruit anybody.
No, he can't.
He can't even beat out BYU for players.
No. The Freeman kid went from Mark Pope right to St. John's. Yeah, right to St. John's. Now,
did you see the fake tweet that somebody had a fake thing from Trilly Donovan that they were getting like the top 2 portal guys, like that shooter from Iowa State and somebody else?
And did they go
Trilly
for it?
Come out and say it was a fake?
The poor Kentucky fans, man. Like literally, if you put what they have right now and you put what we have on paper, negative, cover your ears, Vols will beat them by 35. Twice. Right now.
If they come in here and win again next year, there ought to be an investigation because somebody's throwing the game.
It's pretty next level. But let's go to the phones. They are in. So this thing with Heupel and smoking. Did Heupel quit smoking, Matt? Do you know that? Do we know that? People keep mentioning this.
I didn't know he ever smoked.
Because Michael Moat said after he allegedly quit smoking, he quit coughing at the press conferences. He didn't smoke. There's no way that guy smoked. That can't be true.
Well, he probably needed to last year.
Oh, my gosh. Some of the stuff his quarterbacks have done, I mean, even though they're so good on offense.
His defense.
And his defense. Oh, God.
They're burning 2. I mean, of course, you could only get through 1 with how quickly teams went up and down the field.
Talk about needing a vape. You need like an IV vape for how quickly they were scoring, Matt, to get it in your system. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the phones. We'll get our next call in at 865-200.
A tutor, Brian? A tutor? Really? Maybe Nate Mintz got a really good tutor over there.
Tutor for what? Tutor for what? Tutor for what? Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, Tony, Jake from Memphis. How you doing?
Jakey boy in Memphis. Welcome in, brother.
Growing up as a 90s kid, it was a form of punishment to, driving in the car with your parents smoking.
Oh, so they smoked even in the 90s? They were smoking in the 90s?
Oh, yeah. Instead of spanking you, they just lock the windows so you can't roll down the window.
Nice.
It was awful.
Nice.
Tony, I'm probably as equally as excited about the draft and the series and the game starting tonight. Being a Titans fan, I am curious. I know you could probably care less who the Titans draft.
No, I very much care. They're the state's team.
The state's team, yeah. Like Adam Silver thinks the Memphis Grizzlies should be the state's team.
What do you make of that as somebody that lives in Memphis? That people like LeBron James are coming out and saying, move the team to Nashville. And now they're talking about playing some games in Nashville. What are you to make of that?
I think it's a joke. I mean, Adam Silver thinks the Grizzlies should play a few games in Nashville each year. Yeah. How about the Preds come to Memphis and play a few games each year? How about the Titans go to the Liberty Bowl and play a few games?
Well, you know what?
Does he think
LeBron James?
Does he think
LeBron James ripped Memphis? He basically said Memphis is a cesspool. We don't want to go there. It's because somebody suggested that he go there, and he said, "I'm not going to go live there. I'm not living."
Does he think that the Cavs should play games in Cincinnati and the Sixers should play in Pittsburgh a couple times a year? He's not saying that, is he?
I think the weight of LeBron's words matter less and less as the days go on.
Go.
But that's just me personally. Tony, I have my thoughts. I'm curious, who do you think the Titans should go at number 4?
If I'm the Titanics, I'm to me, they have so many needs, right?
Well, let me put it this way: who would they draft that would concern you the most as an opposing?
If I'm them, I'm taking the Styles kid from Ohio State if he's there. I need a playmaker on defense. I need somebody that can rush a passer. I think this kid could do a little bit of everything from linebacker. I think he would really help them. The thing that would be very interesting for the Titans is what happens if the Cardinals pass on Jeremiah Love, because everybody thinks they're going to take him. And yesterday, Watson Brown was on here popping immaculate for him. He said, Tony, we haven't seen a guy like this enter the sport in a long, long time. The running back from Notre Dame. In fact, Notre Dame might have had the two best backs in college football last year. And I don't know how they managed to miss the playoffs with that team. That's quite an accomplishment by them. What do you do at that point? Are you going to go David Bailey, who I know is another edge rusher they're involved with? Do you go Tyson? What are you doing? Are you going Jeremiah Love?
Well, I think they should go defense, but I'm not going to be surprised, and honestly, I won't be disappointed if they go Love. I mean, it's going to be really hard to pass on Love, and that'd be a really great, really solid 1-2 punch at quarterback and running back for years to come. And yes. I'm thinking that they're thinking of filling out that stadium that's going to be there next year, and that's a good dynamic duo to sell.
Well, I mean, you're right. Chicks dig the long ball. The fact that when you start looking at taking a running back that high in the draft tells you what kind of a special athlete that guy is. Like in the modern era, I guess the last 15 or so years, Saquon Barkley, way at the top of the draft. Of course, the Giants couldn't get it out of him because they're such a horrendous organization, but the Eagles are getting it out of him. Or at least they did for a year and to a Super Bowl. I guess that counts. But, yeah, the Titans have so many needs. Again, hard to beat somebody that can impact an NFL game from the edge. And if you think Bailey's the guy, look, I think that the Styles guy is a hell of a player, man.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I'd hate to, a year or two from now be like the Preds are with Porter Martone.
You got it.
Wishing they had gone with Love.
Right. That's right.
But, well, I'm excited to see what happens. Hey, question for Matt real quick before I head out. If we lose this series this week, is it pretty black and white that, like, if we lose the series to Bama this week, we're not going to make the tournament? Because just looking at the schedule ahead, it looks pretty unlikely. If you can't get 2 of 3 this week, it ain't gonna happen.
Well, I mean, you definitely can't get swept. You've got to win 6 league games over your last 4 series. That's kind of where they're at. So any combination of 6, which that means you have to win at least 2 series. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, even though mathematically you'd be there, I think you probably need to win 2 this weekend to feel good, because you do have a pretty daunting stretch coming up. You might have the hardest remaining schedule in the league. But 6 wins over your final 4 series, which doesn't seem like a really tough ask, but this team's better than their record. They just didn't close out some games. But yeah, they definitely can't get swept, which is why that Sunday game versus Ole Miss was big. But at some point, you do have to start winning series, and this is about as good an opportunity as they have remaining.
I was on the bandwagon for sitting Brown at least a game, if not honestly the series. Does his performance Tuesday night, Matt, kind of? I mean, do you start him? Do you sit him? What do you do with Brown? Because I think not having Abernathy right now in the lineup and Brown in instead of him is not a benefit to us.
Yeah, it's funny because I thought Brown kind of needed a reset and a day off, and then he goes out and gets 2 hits, hits a home run, goes the other way twice. Funny how the game works like that. I think you just keep him in there, and then Abernathy gives you some versatility. You can play him at second. You can play him in center. You can pinch run for him. late game replay. Like, I don't know. We'll see how Brown does this weekend. But it was very encouraging Tuesday night for him to do that. Because I like you, I thought he probably needed a reset. Him and Marin both hit home runs after hitless weekends. So hopefully it can carry over because they certainly need his bat, and he's been well below average in league play.
Hey, Matt, you pointed out LeBron, who's just a Rolls-Royce player. He looks apart in the field. He's kind of like Brown. He's got this high tag on him as an elite, maybe pro player. But boy, he's really struggling against SEC pitching as well.
Yeah, and it's let it affect his defense like Brown. He had a couple of key errors that directly cost them games here in league play. But yeah, he's a guy that's just been a front runner for National Player of the Year going into league play, and then he just really falls off. And I mean, uber talented as you see, and unfortunately we'll probably see it this weekend. But yeah, a lot of guys are like that, and LeBron, I think that the draft stuff is probably getting to him a little bit.
The thing Berkey and I talk about with these guys, and we've seen it here with some guys that are now doing very well, even in Major League Baseball, is they go through stretches and the season's so condensed and the sample size is just so compact that you're either doing it or you're not. And that is the sport of baseball. It's kind of like golf. You're either feeling it off the tee, or you're feeling it with your irons or your short game or whatever goes on you in that sport, or you're not. And it's just a skill sport, and it's just so compact. And you can see the Brown kid fighting himself to the point now where he couldn't even catch a ball in the outfield last week. And he took a couple awful lines on balls. But, Jakey, you're my man.
Can we just win a series at home, guys?
Yeah, what a concept. Thank you, Jake.
I mean, yeah, see you guys.
Thank you. They're calling him midweek Manny now. I've seen that in a couple places for poor Manny Marin, who's a nice player. But 865-200-5402. Will one or two Vols be drafted tonight? Both guys are transfers. Both guys played a year here, essentially. That's what we're doing now. Indiana's going to have their first number 1 pick tonight. Try this on for size, since 1994. Now, Brian, is that any good? And they're going to have a couple in that draft tonight and then a couple next year. And that's the thing. Miami, if you go on the blog today, there's some interesting stuff there because the number of firsts that the Georgias, the Alabamas, and the LSU are producing is diminishing. This is not accidental. If you're going to win at the very top of the thing, you've got to have high-level first-round picks that come out on the other end. It's got to happen. And if the Vols want to win and be of consequence in that sport, like get back up there again, they've got to start producing first-round picks. That's the part of the deal. We could say, well, it doesn't make any sense. Or if you look at that blog today and what the kind of the research I did, just looking at it, all of a sudden, Miami was producing all these guys in the early 2000s when they mattered. And then they went dormant. And now the last couple of years, all of a sudden, a couple guys, and then maybe 3 tonight. And then not even to mention Ohio State. That Ohio State-Indiana game last year, it's a miracle that Indiana worked them like they did. It's a miracle. That Ohio State team's going to have 5 first-rounders tonight. And then they've got the number 1 receiver. They're going to have one of the top picks in the draft next year. That kid that's been sitting there, that kid that was 17 the night he worked us. We'll come back on the other side. The thing that's crazy about tonight is the kid starting for Tennessee's a transfer. The 2 first-round picks that are going in the draft tonight are transfers. It's like, the Vols for a moment. You got VFMs, VFLs. Hey, what were you? Were you a VFM or a VFL? I don't know. Let me do a quick legal and we'll keep a conversation going.
Listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fanrun Radio.
865-200-5402. Check us out over at tclub.team. The Czar, a.k.a. Byron Williams, wrote a great piece on what he would do to fix the NBA. Brian, one of the things he would do is they play a lot less games. I agree with that, man. NBA and NHL need to play about 50 games so everybody plays every night. End of discussion.
Yeah. And you don't have back-to-backs. You don't have one team coming on a back-to-back and another team versus another team who's been sitting for 3 days. And you don't have that discrepancy where you could have games on every night of the week, but you could spread your schedule out more.
Hey, Matt, imagine Ohio State having all that talent on their football team and not cutting the nets down again. Imagine how good that Indiana team is to take them like that and beat them. Heads up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really, impressive, just a great coaching job. Greatest coaching turnaround probably in the history of college sports for a short time.
What do you make, Matt, seriously, of Alabama giving that guy the bank down there? What are we to make of that? What do you make of that?
It's all monopoly money, and I'm sure the buyouts are that. I assume the buyouts probably don't change a ton. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But nothing that college sports is doing right now does really.
Kalen DeBoer, how do I put this for the Bama fan? Nobody's afraid of you anymore. As in nobody. As in Vanderbilt.
If they weren't in the playoffs, he is probably Michigan's head coach.
Nobody's afraid of them anymore. Are you afraid of them, Matt, when you look on your schedule this year?
Well, no.
No.
No, not at all.
No. So strange in this era. All these teams that were paying those players all those years, all that money, now can't compete in the NIL era. Them. North Carolina.
Clemson.
Clemson's a great... Clemson on the blog today, we unpacked them. Brian, they had all from... And I went back to 2020 on. 80% of their first-round draft picks, 80% of them happened between 20 and 23. And since then, gradually, right off the table. And it's
Tyler and Spartansburg need to step up.
Cause and effect,
needs to step up.
Cause and effect. Beers and TD says that Bama fans thought it was an AI joke when it first hit the internet yesterday. I thought it was a joke too. And to Matt's point, I don't know what it does on the back end with the buyout money and what the real commitment to the guy is, or if we're just doing optics. But why would you do optics with that guy? That guy does not fit there. First of all, he looks half asleep. Secondly, his teams play listless football and they blow. I no get it. And look, Dabo Swinney used to buy you a couple $100,000 house. This is what they used to do, okay? They used to go buy you a house and get you a no-show job, just like at Kentucky. You know how, and I wrote this on Twitter today, and they're attacking me, their fans on Twitter, but Crazy Dan Dockich dunks on them daily, and I had to jump in there. I couldn't help myself. Buying a kid a horse, a thoroughbred, at Keeneland is so passé. It's so passé now. So passé. So passé.
What's one of these players going to do with a horse anyway?
Thoroughbred for what? Thoroughbred for what?
They have tutors that raise it.
Thoroughbred for what? Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on our Thursday edition.
How are my French compatriots doing today?
There he is. W. Lynn, welcome in, brother.
Tony, we're missing the point here on really what's big this weekend.
The man.
This is Beat Bama weekend.
The legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
We are playing Alabama in football I'm sorry. I'm thinking it's like a football game. We're playing them in baseball and softball. And softball, they're number 2 in the nation. And the only day we overlap is the baseball closes out the Bama series at 1 p.m. on Saturday. The softball team starts their series at 4 p.m. on Saturday.
That's a different twist. The softball series might not start until the baseball series is completely over with.
And Danny White, what he should have done is taken the old intramural fields in Fiji Island and had a watch party, pep rally, shuttle the students to both stadiums, have them put their IDs in a lanyard around their neck, and any empty seat by the end of the second inning, the students can go for it.
W. Lynn, you're getting me right now, fired up, focused, and prepared. I say the students. Brian, do they have a cattle shoot over in the Lady Vol Stadium, which Brian's been going? Brian's been to a few games this year. He's in the habit right now of going. Talk to me, Brian. Do they have a cattle shoot?
I didn't really notice a great deal of students there. They only go out to there's only 7 main sections.
Yep.
So they haven't added any seats. They do have some standing room in the outfield.
All right, Briney boy, riddle me
by both foul poles, but I don't notice a tremendous student presence.
Briney boy, riddle me this: 6 games with Bama in softball, 6 games with the baseball team. How many wins for Team Tennessee, Brian, total?
I'm going to be a sheep and say 4.
W. Lynn, what you say?
I'll be happy with 4 and 2 out of that whole thing.
W. Lynn, hang right there. Y'all are thinking like losers. Let me bring Amanda Rich in now. My Knoxville Smokies, who are back home right now through the weekend at the beautiful ballpark downtown. Absolutely gorgioso. Amanda, you fire me up, you focus me, and you prepare me when you come on here. So prepare us for this great weekend of Smokies baseball. What we got cooking?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got perfect baseball weather out there today for our Thirsty Thursday. So half-off drink specials, perfect weather for that. Nothing goes better than beer and baseball with that sunshine. And then we also do have our college tickets out there. So any valid student ID at the box office will get you a $10 ticket tonight. So
do you jam them all together? Do you jam them together in one section, or can they sit anywhere?
They can sit anywhere, so they will be able to choose their own seat upon arrival at the box office.
That's unbelievable, Amanda! Unbelievable.
Heck yeah. Hey, we want to get those college students out here and involved with what they love the most, beer. So come out on Thirsty Thursday.
So what do we charge for a student ticket?
$10.
God, that's a great deal.
$10 for your ticket, and then half off drinks all night long. You can't beat it.
Amanda, you're firing me up, focus me, and preparing me. What other promotions do we have going on the weekend?
Yeah, we've got our fireworks coming back this weekend. So, we'll finish each game with a bang up in the sky. But Saturday, we're really excited for. It's going to be Dancing with the Smokies night. And we will be blessed by the presence of special guest Elaine Hendricks from Dancing with the Stars herself.
Cool.
Plus, she'll be out here with animals up for adoption. It's really just going to be a great night full of Smokies and dancing.
Oh, our little animals. What kind of? Well, we have like dogs and cats in the.
You got it. Yes, you can adopt your forever friend and take them home with you from the ballpark.
Aw, what's the lady's name from Dancing with the Stars again?
Elaine Hendricks.
Hang on a second here. W. Lynn, are you familiar with Elaine Hendricks?
No, Tony, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Would you like to be?
Why?
Because Craig Jenkins could make that love connection. Hang right there, W. Lynn. Amanda, have you ever had a radio appearance like that before, where I did a little sidetrack with and got silly?
I haven't. This would be a first for me.
Sorry. Okay, so we got the. Hey, let me say this about the Smokies fireworks. Those of you that are thinking about going. The other night we were playing down Side Hustle, which is a venue in the Old City. It's outside. And it was a beautiful, just a beautiful, beautiful night. It was 2 weeks ago on Saturday. And they started blowing off their fireworks. And we thought, Amanda, we'll play through it because it's just going to be a song. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And your fireworks just went and they went and it went like 3 songs. So finally we had to amp it up and play some heavy rock to kind of match the vibe. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And y'all give people their money's worth with those fireworks, Amanda.
Hey, that's the goal. We try to keep them here as long as possible. And what better way to finish off a great baseball game than with a decent fireworks show?
So we're doing we got the Thirsty Thursday. We got the fireworks display. Is that Friday or Saturday?
That'll be Saturday.
All right. And then Friday, what's our theme?
Friday is just going to be kind of a standard Smokies baseball game. So come in and see us and get ready to kick off the weekend.
And then Sunday, what we have cooking?
Sunday, we're getting spooky. It is halfway to Halloween.
Cool.
So we will have all sorts of characters roaming around. We will have concourse trick-or-treating, face painting, balloon twisting. We'll have a spooky train where you can take a ride on the train. We're really just going to redecorate the ballpark as we're 6 months out from Halloween. So hopefully you know what you're going to be already.
Amanda, I know every Halloween what I am, and all I've got to do is take my brows and my bald head and just kind of light them up, backlight them or front light them, if you will. I could come down there, put the eyebrows, as the kids used to say, on fleek and scare everybody. Would you be up for that?
Oh, 100%. The more the merrier.
Amanda, or
the more the scarier, I should say.
Oh, no question. Amanda, I appreciate you. Tell the living listener how they can get involved, and I thank you.
Yeah, you can get tickets at smokiesbaseball.com and follow along on all of our social media channels. We'll have all of our guides and step-by-step kind of maps for halfway to Halloween, dancing with the Smokies, meeting Elaine Hendricks, and just getting involved this weekend.
Brian Hartman has looked up Elaine Hendricks, and he would like to meet her, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Great Amanda Rich, one more time with my Knoxville Smokies. W. Lynn, you would, if you met that Hendricks lady, you'd have some fireworks, my brah.
Okay, it sounds like Brian's looked her up, and she's pretty smoking, I guess.
Brian?
I actually have not looked her up and didn't even think about looking her up.
Matt Diskin, do you believe that Brian hasn't looked the lady up? I want Matt to know if he believes that.
He hasn't yet. No. Not enough time. Next break.
Amanda Rich, they're saying, has chops. I agree with that. Amanda knows how to roll with the punches to get to what's real.
And once again, is Danny White doing anything to get people to go to the softball and baseball game? Are we having fireworks?
Well, hey, Jude W. Lynn, who's a new great caller on here, who's now now on YouTube. When you suggested what the students said, women's softball to the student body is completely inaccessible. That's why they don't have a great student involvement. That was his.
Yeah, it's hard. There's no walkway that you can go from campus. It's kind of cut off. The area is cut off.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, and there's hardly any parking over there. They have put bleachers in the outfield, but I think that's just general admission. Both stadiums could utilize the outfield more for students. Jude had an idea I thought about years ago. Put the students over the right field all the way to the scoreboard, over the bullpen. And, softball could do that in those outfields. They built the softball stadium too small to start with.
Yep.
And they would have to have shuttles to get any kind of access over there. But that's what Danny White ought to be working on. Stuff like that, getting the students to these events.
They're actually ground broke on a new facility for a clubhouse over there for the softball team. So you'd think that something might be in the works. At least they're trying to at least do some upgrades.
You know what I say to Jude after he called the other day, W. Lynn? I say, Jody. He was an incredible caller, W. Lynn, out of nowhere. The kind of
I want him calling year round.
Yeah, he's the 11th man.
Yeah, I want him to be giving me student reports where their seats are, who's in front of them. You know, I would go over there with a tape measure if I was a student and measure from the baseline of the basketball court to the first seat of the student section. I bet it's the length of a 3-point line.
Hey, Jude, I'll tell you this, too. Write me something for the blog because Danny White reads it every day. And you should write exactly what you want for the students, Jude. This could be a way, because you're never going to get him on the phone. He's not going to communicate with you. He's
oh no.
No, am I lying, W. Lynn? Am I lying about that? Am I lying about that, W. Lynn?
He doesn't care about anybody. He won't even talk to our head coaches.
Oh! You know. Now, W. Lynn, I will say this. Jude, you need to write something where you want the students to be, because Matt Dixon is right. They need to get some pop back in that stadium.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. The president and also Don Day Plowman need to put some pressure on him, as somebody called yesterday and said, because that thing slipped in there. That thing has slipped. The atmosphere of W. Lynn, it's not the same as it was on the porch when we were out there all those years ago, George Harrison.
No, it's not. And like we talked about, the students light the fire in every sport.
Yeah.
And Dante Plowman and Randy Boyd, I know they realize that's your future alumni that you're going to be asking money for.
Jude, the email, you do need to email that, Jude. And the email is commonfan@gmail.com. commonfan@gmail.com. Hey, Jude.
What do you think, Tony, about after the second inning, you can go into an empty seat? Tell the ushers, let them go.
Well, I tell you, they were letting kids move around earlier in the year, and they've been told not to do that, if that means anything to you, according to the information I have.
I'm sure Earl and Judy Brown wouldn't mind at all if some students were around them in those empty seats.
Boy, those seats are really empty down there. It's really strange, isn't it?
Yeah, and right behind home plate, it's a big door and a wall, and it's like a lot of... And you go into that air-conditioned place where half the people apparently are. You know.
W. Lynn, you're a man of the people. I've often thought...
Beat Bama this weekend.
Oh, W. Lynn, thank you. Back to the phones we go. Because I told you we'd keep the calls coming. That was my pledge to you. Callers coming first, as they have all year long. In this, the geophysical year of the caller, 2026...
A word
year of our Lord. Go ahead, Brian.
About Bama's softball team. They have Tennessee and Alabama have the two best pitching staffs in the country in terms of team ERA.
Jude the Dude, Matt tells me, before we get to unpack the softball program, Matt, I want Matt to tell me if he believes this is true. Jude the Dude saying over here, students get wristbands. You're not allowed to walk the concourse without the Gestapo, and you got to tell them where you're going. Even if you're just going to get a hot dog, they ask you where you're going when they start walking the concourse. Matt, do you believe that?
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with him.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
So stupid.
How about my friend who's in the flight industry telling me, Tony, I was listening to the guy talk about the infant having to buy a seat for an infant at a baseball game. And he says to me, do you realize that you can fly for free with an infant up till 2 years of age? That's the rule in the airline biz. But Tennessee's nickel and diming this guy that's been a season ticket holder for 7 years for an infant. A standing room only ticket for a human being that can't stand up, Matt Dixon. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, Tennessee's not the only ones. I'm not a huge fan of that. You certainly shouldn't pay full price for a ticket or anything. I think the infants should be able to get in for free anyway. But, I mean, Tennessee's not the only school or sports teams that do stuff like that. But you shouldn't have to pay any kind of for a regular ticket, even if it's standing room only for an infant. That's just silly and not a way to bring fans to your ballpark. You've got to make it accessible and easy for fans to do it. because you are charging so much more now that at some point, and I think a lot of people are even already here where it's just not worth it to do it because the fan experience is not very good anyway.
Standing Babies Only is telling me to preach it out loud.
If they can't walk, they shouldn't have to have their own ticket.
Here's a problem, Bri, with the whole thing. Here's a problem with the whole thing. It doesn't make any sense. And what has happened to the modern ticket buyer in modern sport? Year after year, it's happened so quickly to all of us that you don't even realize what it used to be like when they valued you. Like, that train is so far off the tracks. When you saw that thing about that fella that was in his 80s who lived in Fountain City, and they took that man's tickets and treated him literally, and it's not just here. It's in the business of college sport. And again, I hate to say this into my microphone. This is painful for me to say. You know how much money Duke basketball, how much revenue they could generate off their student section if they made those tickets on that side available to the general public? But I'll give Duke a lot of credit. One thing they've understood and understand in the modern era where it's all about money, Danny White doesn't never understand this, but not everything that counts in life can be counted. In his world, everything's on that ledger sheet. And in my world, I need an in-tune guitar and a sunny day. And that's why he and I are never going to see it the same way. But I'll tell you this right now, if I were the AD, I would carve out and figure out a way to carve out a student section where those kids could be heard and could be a catalyst for whipping that ballpark into a frenzy. And if that meant taking a few less dollars, but having a winning atmosphere in my building, and one where, and this is where you got to get the president of the university and the chancellor of the university involved in this. Listen, the currency of social media today, it's immense. Now, in coming days and weeks, you're going to start seeing us cutting up portions of the show and booming it out. That's how you grow. Tennessee had something with the Legends of Lindsay. And if they would have leaned into it, like they should have leaned into it, the way Tony dove into them that one night after beating Liberty, went head over heels into the stands. Tony understood that. He understood. Tony was pissed at what they did to that student section, but he couldn't argue. You know why? Because he's making $2 or $3 million, and somebody got to pay the freight for that. Here's the thing, though.
Well,
when you take those kids, like Matt said, and you put them up there, and they have to stand up, and you treat them like absolute garbage.
They're treating them like they're kindergartners.
And
stop treating them like they're kindergartners, asking them where the hell they're going. And I'm surprised any students go with those conditions.
And here's the other thing. You're making money, sure. Matt, how much money could Duke make if they took those tickets away from those Duke students and sold those tickets down low in that arena?
Oh, they could. Oh, yeah, they could probably make another couple $1 million.
But would it be worth it, Matt? At the end of the day, would it be worth it?
It's not worth it at all.
Would a guy like Danny White ever understand that, Matt?
Doesn't seem like it, which is odd because I believe his dad was the AD at Duke for a long time. Not that his dad had anything to do with the student section thing, but I mean, to totally neuter your park when by all accounts, and you saw him broadcasting, you know, people like Kyle Peterson would talk about it. It was the most hostile place to play for about 2 or 3 years. And obviously the team had a big part in that, but the fans fed off that and the players fed off the fan. Like it was just such a perfect marriage there coming out of COVID with all that built up energy and kind of some frustrations. And it was just such a special and magical time over there. You got to find a way to get something similar to that because today, I mean, it's basically a minor league ballpark now with all the. I mean, the stadium's awesome and it's great. There's a lot of new amenities, but
it's beautiful.
But totally taking your students out of the game is just so silly.
The essence of college sports is that they're college sports. I've long maintained in Thompson Bowling Arena that they should put those students right in the middle of the floor and let that be a college atmosphere in there. But they'll never do it. That was when I ran for school president in 1988 and 1989 as Bo on the anti-bourgeoisie ticket. Look it up, kids. One year, it was a joke candidacy, and I was going against these people that are now in like politics in both parties in the state and have risen to like really high levels in their careers. And I was making a mockery of the whole thing, and I almost won. They called me, somebody from the Daily Beacon called me the night before and said, "You might win, man." And I was thinking about, how am I going to get out of doing that? The last thing I want to be a student body president and hang out with those nerds. No offense. Not trying to crack on anybody. But let's go to the phones and get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony and Zach. I was a nerd. I was in the SGA
there you go.
Student Senate.
There you go. Could you see a guy like me having fun with that?
Honestly, I would have loved it because those Senate things we used to have were just abysmal.
Oh, like pulling your brain out of your head being around those people.
It's awful, yeah. But I love your plan, like, hey, Jude.
Yep.
Hey, Jude. So get them out of that bullpen. Hey, Jude, get the students in. UNW Lynn can get them behind the plate.
We need to write a song for you, Judy. Now, that needs work. But, hey, Jude, don't feel so sad. Take the ballpark and make it better. Remember, Jude, don't let Danny White let him under your skin, and then you'll begin to make it better. And that's what you got to do, Jude.
So let him out of that bullpen. Hey, Jude, get him in behind the plate.
Grumpy asked us the following, Devil's Advocate, how is Tennessee supposed to pay for these rosters without money coming in? Grumpy, that's not how you pay for rosters, buddy. I don't know how to tell you that. You don't pay for rosters with ticket money.
Yep. That ticket money is just chump change.
Yep. Chump change.
And I'm totally with you. I just want to take 1 minute. Congrats on your Flyers. I know nobody likes to hear hockey, but I said that y'all were probably going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I'm starting to believe.
It's very possible. I mean, you're going to be faced probably a Hurricanes team that's going to be over-rested.
Yep.
If my Lightning can stop fighting and playing hockey, they're more
crazy.
Fighting.
The Canadians are pulling you guys into their mess with their great young team. And that Caulfield guy, when they get those guys on the power play, those young players they have, the Suzukis and the Caulfields, man, they can really bring it.
Did you see my boy Cole Cox-Slazlowski the other night?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
That was beautiful.
Yes, it was.
We should do like a 15-minute hockey.
Oh yeah.
As the playoffs progress, because I know you guys and I predicted it. Tony, with the Amen, let me just ask you this: as far as like Amen and Harris, how have they not made their decisions yet? But the guys from Florida have already made quick decisions and are all back. Not to sound like Nega Dave, but I am a little irritated at this.
What?
How can we?
They're not on your timeline. That's why.
Well, I know, but
I mean, they're not. They don't care about Zach and E-Town or Tony.
I know
Basilio,
they don't care about me.
Everybody's got to make their own decision, and you can't force them. And the Kentucky kids are not as high of prospects as Nate Ament. I mean, the Florida kids. Sorry, Kentucky. Okay. Sorry, Kentucky. Freudian slip on my part. You guys aren't in the conversation. That came from, I don't know, 20 years ago, thinking Kentucky and basketball. I'm sorry. I've got to reprogram myself, Kentucky fan, on how to think. My bad. Sorry, Matt Jones. Okay, so here's the thing. The Juke Harris guy is somebody that, may just want to start his pro career. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say for him. Then you've got Nate Ament thought he was a surefire high lottery guy coming into the year. And look,
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell NBA teams what to do, what not to do. But if I was sitting there with the 8th pick in that draft, I would take him in a heartbeat. I'm so high on him. I think he's going to be a great player at that level. But the fact that people are saying that he's going to school still, the fact that he hasn't announced anything, and I'm starting to hear a lot of smoke about it, I'm starting to think that it could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but last week, people were asking me, what are the chances that 6 weeks ago, people were saying, what about Nate might come back? I said 0% chance of that happening with most people. Now there are people whispering in the athletic department, you know what? This thing could happen. And one of the pieces here is that when that Tyler Tanner guy stayed where he's at, and all of a sudden Tennessee has a bag to give this guy. They got $7 million to give this guy. That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah. Well, you sold it. I mean, one more year, be a hero. I mean, come on. Like, think about when Peyton Manning came back and what a celebration that was. And he did it. I mean, I know his family was wealthy, but he did it for ostensibly no money. But and that's a moment that will be forever remembered by the living fan, as we say. If Emmett comes back and he's going to get $6 million to come back and be a star and not have to, get his butt busted yet.
Yes. And if you take a chance and go into that draft and you're Nate Emmett, you could be getting bad counsel and you could end up in the bus leagues, man. You really could.
Or you could get
in 2 years.
You could get Dalton Connect. You could get Dalton connected.
Or Connect in a situation where you're buried for somebody's vanity project. And the Houston Rockets are going to figure out a way to lose to LeBron James's vanity project minus 2 of their better players.
It's a crazy world, but I love the show, love the hockey, love the students for the Common Fan.
Oh, come on. Students for Common Fan 2026. Get out the vote. Mobilize the vote. Give sheep the vote, as they say in the trade. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fanrun Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Gotta love this time of the year. hoops here, home runs over there. And you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services' $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Hey, it's Alex Madera, utility with your Knoxville Smokies. The stadium is transformed into Knox Vegas, and it's Thirsty Thursday. Half off draft beers. Hope to see you tonight at the ballpark.
And with the 5th pick tonight in the draft, or the 4th pick in the draft, your Tennessee Titans draft new ownership. That's what Kyle said he wants to hear this evening. Brian, you buying, selling, or trading? Darren wants to know, you buying, selling, or trading Ty Simpson in the NFL draft as a mid-first rounder, like some are saying, or even a late first rounder in the 20s, Brian? Buying, selling, or trading? Ty Simpson, Brian, that league. What are you doing? Brian, are you there? What happened to Brian Matt? God, Basilio, you got to be nimble. You got to stay on your feet. Brian, you buying, selling, or trading Ty Simpson in the draft? What are we doing? First round pick.
I sell that. I don't think that's the first. I don't think the first round. No, maybe
Dixon,
second round.
Matt
maybe
Dixon,
third.
Matt Dixon, or you? I mean, the Vols were flirting with a guy in the offseason who literally now could go in the first round. That's the dearth of quarterbacks that are out there. And look, I just never saw that with Ty Simpson. Matt, what do you think? Does he make it in that league?
I think he's got an 8 or 12-year career as a backup. Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think he's one of those like really smart, knows the position well.
Coach's son.
Just isn't quite as accurate as you need to be. I mean, he wasn't that in college. Accuracy was a little bit of an issue. Not that he didn't throw the ball where it's catchable, but you got to lead receivers and some things like that. But no, I think he sticks around. I mean, I don't think he's a first round pick or anything, but I think he'll have a long NFL career as a backup. Which, heck, that might be the best career you could have in that league.
That's the best career you could have anywhere. That's the best kind of career you could have anywhere.
Back to the phones we go. Yeah, that might be the best job in all of sports.
Yeah, that's the best job anywhere.
Carry that clipboard
worldwide,
make like $7 or $8 million a year. Look at all the money that a guy like Josh Dobbs has made. He's been hit so infrequently. By the way, we're live at Calhoun's tomorrow. And tomorrow I might get my boy Maury Hanks in here to talk about the decision that Ament has. I'm going to put Maury on the case, put his ear to the ground in terms of what he's hearing from NBA people, because, again, there are no secrets in this stuff. What's that kid thinking about doing? It feels like that's in play. I did not think we would get to the point where that's going to be in play. But when you miss on Tanner and you have a lot of money, there was always that possibility they were going to go to him. And the thing that might really really impact this now is you missed on him and this Juke Harris guy is giving signals that he might stay in the, all of a sudden you're Tennessee. You got some urgency here in front of you. So
you might have that first $10 million college player.
You're right. Because you have it. Because you have it. And that's what leads to this. People say, when does this end? Well, it ends when you don't have it. Like at Texas Tech. They've had a few guys peel off and, jump out. Why? Because they've told them the gravy train's over here in this sport. 865-200-5402. Brian, this Carlin Pickens this weekend against Alabama, then we go back to the phones. How's she used? Because I want to shout out Bed Store CJ. She's so great in those Bed Store ads. She looks like such a delight, too, to deal with. That Carlin Pickens just seems like such a bright light on that campus.
She'll start one game, and she'll probably be needed in relief in a couple others, maybe in one other at least.
What's it like, Brian?
Tennessee's got three pretty good starters that all have ERAs under 1.5.
Yeah. What's it like seeing her pitch live, Brian?
It's pretty amazing just to see how she almost looks like it's something that you can't even. She almost looks like she's out of control in a way. It's the way just as fast as that ball pops out of
that
her
arm motion
hand into the glove of the catcher.
And those kids are great athletes that can hit that ball. Because I'm going to tell you something. Major league guys, when they get in there against those people, struggle. Have you ever seen Monica Abbott when she's pitched against those kids? They have trouble hitting the ball.
I haven't, but I can imagine it's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. And this gal's got it all. Here's the thing.
If she's on, they're not hitting. They're not touching her.
Here's the thing about it. She's got God-given talent, like me. It's very difficult to deal with that. Me, Eddie Van Halen, genius people. She's very good-looking, like me, Eddie Van Halen. You know what I mean? She's an artist. She's just an artist out there, like me and Eddie Van Halen. It's very difficult. It's hard. It's hard when you have beauty of face and skin in this world because so much more is expected of you. Matt, when I'm out walking in the park and playing my guitar and they want me to pull my shirt up and show my abs, you know what I mean? It's difficult.
That's where that dollar came from.
The dollar that was sticking out of the back of my hat.
I guess there's worse places it could have been sticking out of since you're apparently taking your shirt off.
You're not really doing that, though.
Brian, are they just kind of load managing her for the postseason? Is that what it seems like they're doing?
Well, they gave those other two girls more action early on to try to, I think, build some depth and also have her fresh for when it matters the most. And then she also had that injury, the arm strain, that caused her to miss a week or so earlier in the year. So she hasn't really been. I think they're trying to get her a little bit more amped up now and maybe use her a little bit more than they've been before.
By the way, we'll get Maury on tomorrow, kind of see this thing to its head. Hopefully we get some great news overnight. That would be like, whoa. Because that would be a fun thing and a good thing for one and all. And that would be a great thing for all of us. And I'd be for it, not against it. And let's go back to our phones. At 865-200-5402 is the numero dolce. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air. And by the way, shout out to our friends at T3 Vodka for providing Maury. They're distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
What's up, boys? Shout out to the vodka people. Tony B, Matt, Brian, it's Steven, stuck up here in Altoona.
Let's go, Steven Altoona.
Let's go. I went to the Pirates game last week. Schemes was dealing.
Cool.
So, touching base, I wanted to talk about a few things. I'll be quick. Softball, I watch every game on the TV. Pickens throws so hard. It's when she comes in relief over somebody, I mean, she is just out there throwing so hard. I think softball is we're going to do it this year. Weekly wants it. Let's go get it.
Oh, they've got a hell of a team together, man. A hell of a team together.
Forget what's that girl's name that left with the money for Texas Tech? She was real good too.
Yeah, Brian. What's
Taylor Pennell, I believe.
Taylor Pennell.
Yeah,
She gonna live. She gonna live to resent that.
She is, but she's swimming in money, I guess. So if that's what they want, that's what they get. So I've been listening I listen every day. I appreciate you guys. Baseball, we give them a hard time. I think we got what it takes. We could we could be a little bit better, but we got to give Elander a break. I think he's doing all right. Softball, we're good. Lady basketball, my mama, she's up in fits about this team. She can't stand the coach. I hate it, but I mean, I think she's kind of running it into the ground. And then we got all these JUCO players now coming in. Like, what are we doing?
No, they've gotten some pretty good SEC players. I like this Coulibaly, who they've brought in. She's a nice player. They brought in some pretty nice players.
Well, I'll take their word for it. I've never heard of these girls, but I don't follow lady basketball like I do the other sports as well. So my one question I've been wanting to ask now for a few days. So the question was, so would you sell your soul for a football national championship? Like, that's kind of what it's coming down to now in the basketball. Like, would you sell your soul for a championship?
I ain't selling my soul for anything. What are you talking about?
I mean, if you ask people, would you sell your soul for a national football championship?
Well, no.
Some people would say, yeah. That's what.
No, I ain't.
They
selling,
want that.
No, we're not doing that.
Okay, well, basketball, that's kind of what we're doing. And
no, we're not. So we're just doing what everybody else is doing. Why are you selling your soul? We're doing what everybody else is doing. What do you mean?
Maybe I put it the wrong way, but I mean, when
we're just doing what everybody else
every single day. Like,
buying a championship.
We're buying a yeah. Okay, Matt, do you hate that we're buying a championship, Matt, or trying to?
I mean, I'm not a fan of the way that it goes about, but it's what the sport is now, and it's the only way to compete at the highest level. So I'd rather be all in and doing it this way than hosting NIT games.
What has Kentucky been doing all these years? What has Duke been doing all these years? What has North Carolina and Kansas been doing, and Connecticut all these years? To my friend in Altoona, they've been buying championships, guys, all these years.
Well, and I agree with what he just said. I'm not, I want those 4-year players, that loyalty, but it's just not there anymore. Mm-hmm. So I guess my only thing was we were kind of doubting Barnes a little bit. We can't doubt Barnes anymore. He got rid of all of those people, and he upgraded in every single position.
Yep.
So shout out to Rick for doing that.
Thank you, my man. Yeah, but Rick Barnes is not in the business of selling his soul to win a championship. I can tell you that right now. All right, for 1 second here, I want to call something to your attention, because my Nashville listeners, my friends in my mid-state, thousands and thousands strong, hear us, read us, the whole thing. We're going to be doing something really special on Wednesday with the program, because there's a special ceremony going on Tuesday night. And we sort of briefly mentioned this on the show yesterday, but I want to bring Royce Degree in with us now, who's the Chief Creative Officer, Musicians Hall of Fame, which is something I'm really, 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 really excited about getting a chance to be at on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to get a chance to broadcast live from there, because they've got a real gem in Nashville that we want to shine the light on. And I just want to say, for the record, I'm not getting paid a dime to do this, but I'm a musician. I love music. I respect music so much. I respect the musicians that make music, that write music, and that play on all these great songs all over the world that they honor in the Musicians Hall of Fame. And Royce, I welcome you in against the backdrop that, man, I'm glad to be coming to your event on Tuesday, and I'm going to be glad to be down there on Wednesday. So welcome in.
Awesome. Thanks, man. We're looking forward to having you down here. That's exciting.
Well, here's the thing. I respect and love so much what y'all are doing. Tell me about, and tell the living listener that hasn't heard of the Musicians Hall of Fame about your mission there, Royce.
Oh, yeah. The Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum is the only museum of its kind in the world that honors the musicians behind the soundtracks of our lives, basically. So session musicians, if you're not aware of what they do, they play on, hundreds of thousands of songs. And they very rarely get any credit, but they often are the people who contribute the signature licks, the identifiable intros to songs that are musically driven, the guitar riffs and stuff like that. So a lot of times the session musicians just nobody knows who they are. So Joe and Linda Chambers had the idea to start a museum that honored and acknowledged the people behind the music.
And they've been doing it for many, many, many years. And
doing it well.
This year, you've got a lineup of iconic inductees. Talk about it.
Oh, yeah. We this year are inducting Dolly Parton.
Mm-hmm.
We got Leland Sklar,
mm-hmm.
Nikki Hopkins. Let's see, Leland